Welcome. This is DJ Rello. This is podcast number 7 of Connected Sound Podcast, and I have a very special guest with me today. We got DJ Grand D, who is actually a cousin of mine. How you doing today, cuz?
I'm good, cuz. Real good, man.
Real good. Yes, sir. Glad to finally have you come through. I've been wanting to bring this man through for quite some time. Been a DJ in this area for quite some time, and definitely one of the people that helped me get to the point where I am today as a DJ. So I gotta have my very first guest be someone very special to me, and that would be my cuz DJ Grand D. Appreciate you for coming through. We're gonna talk a little bit about your DJ journey today. First question I got for you is, you don't have to say your age. But how long have you been DJing?
About 45 years.
45 years. That is a long time, cuz.
Yes, it is.
But that just means you got hell of experience.
That's a long time. Yes, it is.
Long time for experience. 45 years, no offense, is a lifetime. So you've got more experience in this one industry than most people have in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Their life, they're not even that old yet. You got more experience as a DJ. So you're definitely somebody that I always come to whenever I have any questions, whenever I need to borrow some equipment for a gig.
Right.
I come holler at you. You know
got
what I'm
it.
saying? Definitely. You probably got more knowledge than a lot of people. You probably forgot more knowledge than a lot of people even gathered in this lifetime as a DJ. 45 years, that's a long time. I want to ask, what do you think the very first venue you played?
Let's see. It was probably a block party.
Block party. Yeah, they did a lot of that
I
stuff.
done a lot of block parties down there where I grew up in Philadelphia, so they would close us off the street.
Yeah.
And then you know everybody be out there barbecuing and
Right.
setting up the stuff, and they needed a DJ, so I
Yeah.
go set my equipment up, and we just rock out the whole day right there.
Yeah, block parties. Gotta love block parties. I wish block parties was something that they would do, at least in our area, more often. Why do you think they don't do block parties around here?
When I first moved up to Chambersburg, I did do a block party. Matter of fact, I done a couple of them, and then from now, just something happened where, it just didn't exist no more. I don't know why.
Our township in our area doesn't particularly care for hip hop music and gatherings like that. So I'm sure they probably had something to do with it.
They sure they did, because the music that I was playing was like, I grew up on the hip hop side, so that's what I was used to playing. But I evidently that to be more where I'm at today, I will seriously have to branch out, which I do branch out to everybody now, to try to fit something in for everybody now.
Yeah, you have to. Definitely, especially in this area.
And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm still in the game, because
for sure
I can branch out to the older people, younger people, kids or whatever,
Exactly. Most definitely. That being able to tap into different genres and different age brackets, it definitely helps you, and it keeps the longevity, keeps you have longevity in DJing, because if you don't and you just cater to one type of people, you already know you're gonna you might get booked.
Right.
Well, you're only gonna get booked for a certain type of people, and unfortunately in this area, it's not like everyone is on just strictly hip hop and R&B.
Exactly.
We got people that might want to hear some line dancing.
Right. Yep. Some salsa dancing.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. You got to have the music, and I know you do. I mean, because like I said, I came to you when I first started. Got myself together. This man helped me get my stuff together when I was first starting DJing. I remember I came to your house in 2000 and probably 11, and you showed me a bunch of gear, and I'm like, I gotta get some of this gear. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money. It's a long way to go. This is thousands, tens of thousands of dollars.
It is. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But you gotta start somewhere. I remember you put me onto a couple websites. You say, go here to grab gear, go there to grab gear. You don't gotta pay with these people up front.
Right,
You put me onto a lot of things, and I want to say I appreciate that. You definitely get my DJ gear and my DJ career kicked off for sure. I would say, what do you think the most memorable event that you played? Like when you think of like, man, when you think of an event that you really enjoyed yourself, like more than any other one that might stand out, maybe?
There's been a few of them that man, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe, like I said, it was around here. It doesn't have too many big of a venue.
Right.
But like I said, when I was in Philadelphia, we got a place it was called the Wagner's Ballroom.
Okay.
And this place hold probably 2,000 people.
Yeah.
You fill that place up right there, and you got the crowd on the floor, and you like, man, look at that, they just jamming, you know, and like that just brings joy to me, like I'm doing something, you know, to see all these people out there dancing and everything. That's probably a good thing right there that I like to bring up.
Yeah, that I would say like now when you were DJing a lot, you know, people are coming to parties and shows and things like that. They're coming to dance.
Right.
Now I feel like people go to shows and stuff. It's not that they're not coming to dance, but they're coming to like, excuse me, I would say turn up. They're coming to rage. They're coming to jump up and down. And that's a little bit different type of game and different type of DJing than it is when you're DJing for a dance crowd, because a dance crowd is obviously dancing. Right. You're kind of like mixing songs. And it's just, if I like hearing you say that when you say 1,000, 2,000 people getting together, and those people were dancing.
Right. Having a good time.
Having a great time. They're dancing, and it's like, that stuff still happens, but I miss those days when you would just have gatherings of people just getting together to mingle and to dance and to listen to good music.
Right, yes.
Like now it's like people go to the club and they're not dancing.
They're not dancing, all against the wall or whatever, and
they could come up and request, this is my favorite song
and still
ever.
Won't dance. They just want to hear the song. That's all.
That boggles my mind. I mean, you say this is your song, and I can't even get a head nod.
Right. Yep.
It's very confusing when people do that. If you come and request a song, I better at least see you bobbing your head like you like the song. Don't come request a song and
you don't and you don't see them no more. Like that girl asked me to play, or that guy asked me to play a song. I don't even see him out here nowhere.
If that's the case, man, you need to go to the touch tune.
There you go. Yep. Stay
put
on
your
the touch
50
tune.
cent, put your 75 cent in there, play your song, sit at the bar, have your drink, and be quiet.
Yep.
Because otherwise, it's like, man, you messing my setup.
Right.
I'm in a groove. Now you done threw me off.
Yep.
You know, people like to request things, but if you're going to request it, at least act like you actually like the song and not just requesting to request. Last time I was at your house, we were talking, and we basically, this is how we sparked up getting you on the podcast and just talking about some things. Is the last time I was at your house, and I remember we were just talking about a bunch of things in your life and your career. And I remember you told me an interesting story, because this was something that was so totally unlike you. You were obviously I've known you all my life, but you've always been very calm and cool and collected guy. I've never seen you angry. I've never seen you too hype about anything. And I remember you told me a story about you having to travel with a gun when you're in Philly, when you first started to DJ. And I'm like, this man carrying a gun, I can't even imagine you getting that angry to where you would even need to shoot a gun or anything like that. But it's like, man, I thought that was crazy that you, of all people that I know, that you would feel the need that you had to carry a gun. I just want to see if you can touch on that story about how you had to protect yourself and protect all your gear as a DJ growing up.
Right. Like I said, down in Philly at that time, probably in the late 70s, early 80s and stuff like that. And, you know, I go to DJ somewhere, and I always had to have a crew with me. Yeah. At least 10 to 15 people with me at all time, because I couldn't go by myself, because like even doing block parties, I might be at one end of the block, they set another DJ up at the other end of the block. If you weren't no good, they'd turn your shit off and let the better guy play. You know what I mean? So luckily I was good enough to stay connected and still rock out the party. The other guy, he had to pack his shit up and go. You know what I mean?
Gotta go. Gotta get off the block.
And if they didn't really like you, they would try to take your equipment from you. You know, so I used to carry a 22 underneath for my Technique 1200. I carried a little gun underneath of there, you know, because I had to protect myself. You know, protect my equipment and everything.
That's your livelihood.
Right. And it's another time I think I told you when I DJ in Norristown, PA. We done this big ballroom party in there, and I had a U-Haul truck.
Yeah.
You know, and after the gig was over, we packed all our stuff up, put it in the truck, and these guys jumped right in the back of the truck with us. They had a gun. I didn't have my gun then. I like, damn, you know, so they stuck us up and took all my equipment.
That's crazy.
And the truck.
Oh, my
everything,
God.
You know, just left us hanging there, you know, so.
That type of stuff was, I guess you could call it, a lick back then. You had a lot of equipment. That stuff was worth a lot.
It was worth money,
wasn't as many DJs then.
It wasn't. There was only a few DJs now, you know. It was like when I grew up, I only probably knew around probably a good 6 or 7 DJs that were, you know, in my square, you know, in the development or whatever, you know. But, you know, they was doing their thing. I'm doing my thing. We was tight and everything. We would do a party. Sometimes we would, you know, go do shows together and all that stuff. But if you go by yourself and you don't have nobody with you and you don't know what part of town you in.
You got to lug all that stuff through the city. It ain't like, you know what I mean? You might have to walk some of the stuff.
Right. And that was another thing. Like I said, when I was first starting out, I didn't have no vehicle then. So we doing a party, and down in the city, we got taxi cabs. You know, I called me a cab and loaded all my stuff in his cab and went and done the party. I said, "Yo, I'm going to need you when the party is over to help me load it back up and put it back in there." But the guy was cool, you know. He helped me load it up, and as long as I paid, I gave him a good tip and everything, and that was all good, you know. But I didn't have no vehicle back then, you know. So it was hard for me to really get around. But I always had somebody that's like, man, you got to do this because you're good, you know. We're going to help you get there, you know. So that was pretty good, too. That worked out good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, like I said, man, we've had a lot of talks in your basement. We basically had podcasts in your basement just talking about just random stuff, DJing, music in general. Your basement is basically your studio. It's nicer than a lot of studios around here. You got more equipment. You got a better setup.
It's something.
You got vintage equipment, new and old.
Yeah, it was something that I always dreamed. I always said to myself, if I ever get my house, I gotta have me a basement with a studio in it. And I thank God that I got to that point, you know. And I had what I needed down there. So
you got more than what you need. You got literally a whole studio. But like I said, I love the fact coming to your studio because I can come there and I can see some new equipment, some equipment that came out within the last 2 years, and equipment that came out 30 years ago. And it still looks like you got it 3 days ago.
Yeah, that's one thing I did. I always tried to take care of my equipment.
Yes, that's one thing I'll definitely learn from you. My first set of turntables, my first controller I got, I beat that thing to hell. Beat that thing to hell. Beat it to hell. I mean, people wouldn't know me because I would come into the place with my stuff on my shoulder. I'm coming into the bar, to the club like Hercules.
And I still got my first set. Not my first set. It's probably my second set. I had Techniques, but they were in 1200s.
Yeah.
And I still got my 1200s, and they still look brand new, and they over 30 years old.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
Everybody wanted to buy. I said, I'm not selling these because these are antique. These are classic. And now those turntables, when I bought them back then, I only paid like $250 a piece. Now it's like $1,500 for one of them. You know what I mean? So they can tell you how the years, and because Techniques they wasn't supposed to make those type of turntables for DJs. They were supposed to be for a house system. You know, you got your Technique rack and system, but then somehow some DJs got a hold of it and say, man, this thing is nice. It's heavy, and you know, it's quick, and the motor in it is solid.
Yeah.
And then they started using them Technique 1200s as their DJ turntable, and been a history on them, you know.
Turn right into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of a lot of equipment, I know, like I said, I know you have a ton of equipment in your house. What do you think the most money you've spent on one piece of equipment?
Not including my laptop.
Not including the laptop. Not including Apple. No, they're gonna beat us over the head with the all times.
It's probably right now the Rain 12, the Rain setup.
Yeah, those things are nice.
The Rain 12s with the mixer and everything, and it's probably that.
Shout out to Rain. They definitely did their thing with that. It took them long enough. I remember those things were on back order forever.
It was.
They were on back order forever. No one can get their hands on them. I seen one person with them, and I seen that at a guitar center.
Right. And then it could be between that and then my speakers.
Yeah.
Speakers are they up there too now.
Yeah, definitely speakers. You got a lot of speakers. That's for sure. Speakers can be pretty expensive.
Right. Yep. They can.
Most definitely.
And I got even amplifiers.
You
know, like right now you get most of your speakers. I got the amps built in them, but I still have external amps that you got to hook everything into it. You know, and I got Crown amps, and you know they still.
A lot of people forget about using amps.
Yeah, I mean, I still got all of them that I'll use occasionally if I want to bring out my non-power speakers or whatever.
Right.
I'll just hook that up and everything like that.
Yeah, for sure, most definitely. Yeah, your home studio is nice. It's definitely what people would want if they're going to have a home studio. It's the perfect setup. It's chill. It's nice. It's clean. The setup is just great. And you also got a huge projector screen, so it's like you got some vibes in the basement.
You know how they used to have MTV Raps back in the day?
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna have my basement hooked up like MTV Raps.
Yeah,
and
for sure. It definitely is
that.
like MTV Raps meets the basement.
The basement, yep.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Have you tuned into any of the Olympics so far?
Like I said, I really didn't have time to be at it every day. Like I said, I seen maybe the bobsled here and there.
Yeah, I'll turn it on.
I seen them
snowboard.
Like you know, I seen the boys doing the snowboards.
I did see the Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah,
I did see that. I guess they didn't have a team for a certain amount of years.
Right, yep. But I never really got into it too much because I probably was just too busy doing something else or whatever.
Have you seen Cool Runnings?
Yeah, I seen that.
Okay. So if you don't know Jamaican bobsledding, you probably should go watch Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings, yep.
You definitely should watch Cool Runnings if you've never seen it. It's a funny movie.
It's a good movie. Yep.
It makes you feel good after watching. I like watching movies that make me feel like I need to go accomplish something.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So shout out to the guys at Cool Runnings. Shout out to that movie. You definitely have to go check that out.
Yep.
How about the NBA All-Star Game? Did you watch any of that?
I didn't see none of that either.
None of that. Not feeling it?
My focus was always in the music area.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know what I mean? I was always, if you want to find me, you know where I be at.
Yeah, for sure. And the NBA has done a pretty good job of incorporating music.
Right.
They have. They stay pretty up to date. They've collaborated with a couple different rap artists and just a couple artists in general, and done, like collabs as far as like commercials and stuff like that. They do a pretty good job. So we're not going to keep touching on too much sports. I want to say, like, you've lived through a couple eras of music. You lived through the eras of music. Not many people can say that. So a lot of people complain now about where music is at. But you've seen music from the start until now.
Right.
What do you think your favorite era of music is?
Well, before I go there, I just want to say now that it's changed. Our music is greater than all other genres now. You know what I mean? So it's changed. It's the R&B and hip hop is right on top there. You know. So
you're exactly right.
And that's where I keep myself at right there in that level right there. So that's how I got into it, and that's what took me far enough from it, you know, and that's where I'm at to today. And the hip hop is just it makes people it's exciting, you know. It's just like the beats. I like to listen to the beat, you know, and all that stuff. I said, man, that's a nice beat going through there, whatever, you know.
Right.
So I mean, you hear hip hop on all the commercials, TV commercials, McDonald's, Burger King, all those commercials. You hear nothing but hip hop music in it playing on them, you know.
Yeah, for sure, most definitely. That's all you hear.
And see, that's another thing I would like to try to get into. I got to get so I can get into that commercial stuff.
Yes.
I want to have my beats playing on Burger King and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Most
going in there or whatever.
That sounds like a check to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That sounds like money, and that sounds good.
Right.
You gotta love getting a check, especially from somebody that we spend money on McDonald's and all them. Yeah, go ahead and pay us for once. Let's put some beats on there, some movies.
Right, movies and all that, soundtracks and all that. Mm-hmm.
Sitcoms on TV, whatever have you. Like I said, you've dealt with a lot of music. What do you think who do you think your favorite artist is? Like your favorite artist to either whether it's playing that artist or for your personal preference as listening.
He ain't here no more. Rest in peace. It was Heavy D.
Yeah.
Because he was an artist that expressed himself, you know what I mean?
Right.
He really somehow he stuck in my head like, man, he got some good music here, you know? You know, back then they didn't cuss, they didn't do all that, but his music made you want to get up and dance and stuff like that. Dude. Yeah, for a big guy, you know, he had the moves. He was just light on his feet and everything. I said, that's Heavy D, man. That was one of my favorite rappers right there.
That's definitely one of my pops and a couple of his close homies. I grew up on definitely a lot of Heavy D. Like I said, my pops and his homies, they listened to that. My uncle, they was on Heavy D a lot. The thing I liked about Heavy D, he had like you said, songs that make you dance.
Right.
He also had songs that were chill and just get you in a vibe about women.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
He definitely had it. So that's an older artist. Who would you say, anyone that's kind of current that you would say that you like listening to?
I like to listen to Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. And, I love Kendrick. One of my favorites.
Yeah, and what is
he's got great production, great wordplay.
Right.
I love Kendrick.
Right, and you know, of course, the ladies they came out. I like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and
yeah, for sure. I love them.
You know,
the women. You gotta love the women coming out, especially women rappers.
Right, because they weren't here. It was so long. It was Nicki Minaj. They needed to bring somebody else through there, you know, and they did. They brought out all these women.
Yep.
And it seems like they flowing right now, you know.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely, women have made their stamp within the
they put a stamp on it, and they can do the same thing the guys do. They can rap just the same. Yep.
Just the same. And now it's like they do a great job of promoting themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Videos.
Right.
A lot of these women, they're not just making music. They're making super hits.
Yeah.
Super hit songs. They're making songs on the radio. People listening to them all the time. So shout out to a lot of women making music in the industry right now. Yep. The other day, a friend of mine, she sent me a video. She's also a female DJ and a friend of mine. And she was at a club, and the DJ at the club was playing R. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent me a video and said, this DJ is playing R. Kelly in the club right now. And I was thinking, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I haven't run into this because, I mean, there's just other music that I could be playing other than R. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
But you grew up heavily and you DJ'd heavily within the R. Kelly era.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask, do you still play R. Kelly?
I had a few people ask me, you know, can you play this song by R. Kelly? I didn't turn him down. I played it, you know what I mean? I said, for what he done, that's on him.
Yeah, for sure.
But as far as his music is on point. So, you know, I'm not going to give up on his music. I mean, you know, but... I mean,
I might not. I don't think I'm gonna go out my way and play any R. Kelly.
Right, I wouldn't play it. I
wouldn't. Someone wants to hear it.
Exactly.
It's like, hey, and if people feeling weird at the party or whatever, I'm just gonna blame it on them.
Cause see,
hey, this is that person.
Right. But see, you
right there that's her request.
Right,
or his request. I ain't want to play it, but that's on her. So
and the one that they always really wanted to hear was "Step in the Name of Love" because that's like a line dance type of thing.
For sure.
So, and that's a really good song from him, you know. So I said I gotta play it.
Of all the ones, if you're gonna play an R. Kelly song, I would say definitely. At least you're not playing. It's not a super sexual song.
Exactly. Yep.
Like
exactly.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know what I mean? You gotta kind of.
And I didn't hear no feedback either. You know, ain't nobody say, "Why you playing that man's music for?" I didn't hear nothing. They was like, "Oh, they started dancing." You know,
I
said,
probably don't. Especially people over probably the age 30, probably don't care too.
Mm-hmm.
They probably just like whatever. It's probably under, you know what I mean, under 30. They really didn't grow up with R. Kelly like that.
Right.
So there's probably like, who the hell cares about this?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They think of him. We got to experience like the music when he was just super like up there as an artist, and now he's not.
Right. So they don't hear him no more. They don't. They don't. Who is that now?
Yeah,
you know?
They don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask that question. It's an interesting question, but I want to thank you for coming through. You're always welcome here. We're gonna definitely have to link up, make some beats, and just cook up one of these days here at the studio.
Yep, sure.
But I wanted to say thank you for coming. This is a pleasure finally having you on the podcast. This is once again my cousin, everything in the DJ industry. This man taught me or had a part in teaching me. So I want to say thank you one last time. This is DJ Rello. This is DJ Grand D. Connect the Sound Podcast, episode 7. We out.
All right, thanks.